G'day everybody, it's Warwick Powell here from Smart Trade Networks. I'm in Brisbane, Australia, which is where I was last week, probably because COVID has meant that it's pretty hard to go anywhere at the moment. But it is Friday, the 11th of June. And what I wanted to talk to you about today is actually a topic of an upcoming conference paper that I'm going to be delivering on the 6th of July at the Supply Chain on Blockchain conference. It's a virtual conference this year, as it was last year, and it's an initiative of the blockchain community here in Brisbane and has been going now, coming into its third year. It brings together a whole lot of speakers from industry, academia, and also technicians, people who are actually building things, with a view to sharing perspectives and deepening and broadening the understanding of how blockchain technologies can actually do something useful and productive in supply chains. So the paper that I'll be delivering is on behalf of the entire research team here at Queensland University of Technology, which has been working on tackling a pretty thorny problem really in how blockchains interface with supply chains, and that goes to the rubbish in, rubbish out problem. The paper, in effect, introduces the idea of social consensus as a new dimension of consensus on top of what we would classically understand as technical consensus, which is how a group of computers come to agree on a particular version of things. Now, the problem, of course, is that if the information going onto the blockchain is rubbish, then what you get afterwards is also rubbish, and that's not much good for anybody. So the approach that we've adopted in our research is to explore the idea of social consensus, which is how groups of people ultimately come together and arrive at a basis upon which they can agree on a body of information as being sufficiently valid so that they can move on together with the things that they're doing, which in this case is transacting products and services and doing business with each other. So the idea of social consensus is achieved in effect through a multi-sig architecture. So the team has taken the basic multi-sig, the Gnosis multi-sig, which is very, very well known in the blockchain community, and significantly improved it. And the tech team will explore some of those features, perhaps in another podcast sometime in the future. But basically, what we try to do is introduce the idea that groups of agents need to also come together and reach agreement on the information that is going to be published to a blockchain, number one. And number two, that the agents that sign off on a piece of information, or a transaction in this case, are transparent to everyone else in the ecosystem. Now, the idea of that ultimately is firstly to introduce some safety in numbers, if you will, for those who are proposing information in the first case, but also because of the transparent nature of what we're doing, ensures that when people do sign off on information to the blockchain, that they are in effect putting their own reputations at stake too. And the ability by which we can bring reputation in effect to the table, we believe is an important aspect of bringing enhanced credibility ultimately to the information systems that we all depend upon. The other part of going down this pathway is that what we effectively do is achieve what we could call common knowledge in retrospect. And supply chains function better and fairer and more sustainably when information is more symmetric and verges closer and closer to there being bodies of common knowledge, which is that the parties to transactions know the same thing, and they know that each other knows the same thing as well. And that level of common knowledge ultimately enables transactions to take place smoothly, because the parties actually know that they're talking about the same things. So that's essentially the gist of the paper that I will be giving 6th of July at the Supply Chain on Blockchain conference, which will be held virtually. There'll be some details below in the description, so I think it's a free event. Register and I look forward to seeing you all there. See you next time.